I'm Larry Lawson, President and CEO of Spirit Aerosystems.
I'm the Hitman from Power 93.5.
I'm Olivia Newfarmer with Hutton Construction.
We're the Graves family, and this is why we ride.
And this is why I ride.
And this is why I ride.
And this is why I ride.
My sister was a type 1 diabetic or had juvenile diabetes growing up, and so there was a fundraiser, and my son and I thought it would be a great idea to go out and start raising money for American diabetes. It also intersected with one of our favorite pastimes, which was cycling, and so it was perfect. Unbeknownst to us at the time, my son would go off to college a couple of years later and come home diagnosed also as a type 1 diabetic. Of course, we then had something even closer to home that, we related to as it related to, the mission of ADA.
My brother has diabetes, and so experience from the time he was diagnosed to what he's had to do to take care of it and how it's caused him some health challenges, and it's a battle. And so when you have a family member that lives with something like this, you really become connected. You start to read about diabetes, you start to wonder what it is, you start to wonder what can I do myself to prevent from getting diabetes. But you can live and have an enjoyable life with diabetes, and seeing him do it. He's a minister, and he just works hard every day. He's always going, and it never complains, so that's a blessing.
So I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 20 years old. I was actually told by one of my friend's moms, who is a nurse, and she noticed that I was just downing water and just drinking bottles and bottles, and so I went and got my blood sugar checked. It measured up to be like 480, which the normal number should be around 100 to 120. So that's obviously a very high number, and it was very scary. And I was kept overnight and was in and out of doctor's offices throughout the next couple of days, just learning what type 1 diabetes is and what the future is going to look like and how to take care of myself and how to manage that better. And that's kind of been my motivation to participate in the Tour de Cure, and that's also been why I love the ADA so much, because that's what their message is too. They want to educate others, and they want to make sure everyone's aware of what diabetes is.
When Lauren was 16 months old, she was actually diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. We really didn't know much about it at the time. All we knew was we were going to be at the hospital, and we had to go through rigorous training as far as testing blood sugars and giving shots, counting carbohydrates at the time. And so from a very young age to now, she's 14 years old, she's had diabetes most of her life, and we've had to learn to deal with it. And it's a disease that never gives you a break, and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, we're measuring blood sugars, we're giving her shots, and we got to measure all the carbohydrates that she eats all the time.
Diabetes is one of those diseases that really kind of flies under the radar, and it's actually quite prevalent today, and most people don't know about it, either from an education standpoint in terms of what they can do to avoid diabetes or what their options are for treatment if they have the disease. So it's very, very important. The mission that American Diabetes has is not only to work on, educating folks, but also to work on cures.
We all know somebody that has diabetes. We've all heard of someone with diabetes. I think a lot of people may not be as knowledgeable about diabetes as I was until my brother was diagnosed. And so that's a reason in and of itself. And not to mention kids that have diabetes. And so everyone anywhere knows or has heard of diabetes, and they know what it is, and they also know that there's a probability that they too one day could get diabetes, and there are those that are born with it. So that in and of itself is a very strong reason to get involved with diabetes and get on a bike and ride, because if you can, then do it. And there's a family ride, there's a 5K, there's a 10K, a 25K, 50K, 100K. There's so many different levels. So if you're a very passionate bike rider, there's something for you. If there's something you just want to do with the family and kids, you're not a very big bike rider, which that's the category I would fall in, there's still an opportunity for you to participate and have fun and do something to help people who need our help.
So there are 29 million people in the United States who have diabetes, whether that's type 1, type 2, or gestational diabetes. And there's a really good chance that you know one of them. just for that reason, that should be enough for you to want to ride. Find a cure, raise money, get out there to show your support. It will mean the world to them.
Think about that person that you know, and just in Lauren's lifetime, from when she was a baby at 16 months old to 14 years, we've seen technology already increase in diabetes. I was reading the other day where they've started to develop artificial pancreas. I've seen other things where the technology is advancing, which tells me the money that is being raised on these events, it is making a difference. And we're getting so much closer to maybe one day where they actually develop a pancreas that we can implant in her and she won't have to take shots anymore.